Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's Join the Dots, being recorded late Monday morning here. Now then, what have I got for you? Just to carry on from Friday and the markets. Gold today, when I first looked this morning, it had done nothing. It was slightly down, silver was slightly down, everything was slightly down. I thought, that's a shame, no push on. Suddenly, gold's over 36, silver's over 41. So there is a push on. Let's hope this continues this week. Not that we need short-term gains, but just we need the continuation process. All right, so back to wealth. Now I'm going to start off with a very short link clip of 41 seconds. Mike Mahoney, one of our stars on gold and silver. And Mike has, but he's conscious of everything, which you have to be. You have to be conscious of everything. You can't just watch all the gold videos or the silver videos. You have to be conscious of what's going on around it so that you can join the dots, as we do. So what he saw was in the last 200 major insider trades, all 200 have been sales. Okay. Now normally that ratio runs at about 1 to 3. In other words, 3 sales per buy. But what we've seen here in the last 200 major insider stock dealings is they have 100% been sales. Join the dots. Okay, so I'm going to counter that a little bit though by what Greg Mannarino says. Now my second link is to Greg Mannarino. Now you won't be able to see it unless you're subscribed. And I'm not saying you have to subscribe. I'm just saying for those who are subscribed, you can watch it. Okay, I'll link it. It's an excellent piece. Every piece comes from Greg is excellent in terms of its quality and its information. You may not like the emotion, you may not like the fact that he wears a hat sometimes. It's all to test your concentration. And this is the problem we have in the world. People don't have concentration, easily distracted. And that's what they, whoever they are, rely on. The public to be distracted. Rome, isn't it? Circuses. So anyway, link 2, Greg. It's a good piece. I haven't actually listened to it. I've read the transcript because I find it easier to read the transcript. And there are basically 3 scenarios that Greg sees as possible after Trump's announcement of strategic stakes being taken in major companies. Can you see the conflict of interest here? Please tell me you can. The conflict of interest is colossal. The deprivatization, in effect, of mega corporates. The destruction of the middle class. I'll explain it as we go through it. It's so easy to see if you join the dots. So easy. Okay, so there are 3 scenarios that Greg comes up with to describe what will happen. Because when you think about it, if the US government is taking strategic stakes in mega corporations, defense, health, IT, AI, you can understand a logic behind it, but you have to realize the dangers, which are enormous and so many. You've now got the Federal Reserve effectively buying stakes in companies, isn't it? Because the government hasn't got any money, so the Fed's got to print it. So in effect, the Fed are holders of major stakes in the megacorps. And who's going to make money out of those transactions? You know, don't you? So it gives also in the market, it gives a state put, doesn't it? Because people know that the state's not going to allow the share prices to fall much below where they bought. Just a fact. And that means there's a backstop, which means that people can rely on buying the shares even when they're not really, for any practical or business reason, going to thrive because the government's standing behind it. So does it put a backstop on the S&P? So the logic is that the mega caps, their multiples will expand. But what it does, logically, is it takes away innovation and replaces it by political allocation. Think about that. Okay? The government now decides who gets the money, not the market, not their product, not their innovation. The government decides. Who decides? On what basis? The smaller and middle-sized enterprises starve because all the money is going to be concentrated on the megacorps. The investors are going to go to the megacorps. They know they've got a backstop now. They know they've got a put. They can go to the megacorps. So your Mag 7 becomes maybe a Mag 12, Mag 15, a super Mag 15. And the rest, forget it. We're not interested. And the insiders thrive, don't they? I mean, if Nancy Pelosi made enough out of the old economy, imagine what the insiders are going to make out of this economy, where for months in advance, negotiations will be taking place about government making major strategic stakeholder positions in megacorps. Oh, I wonder if someone might just cheat on that. I wonder. So the middle class wages are going to lag because all the businesses other than the megacorps, they're going to suffer. So wages will suffer. Jobs will suffer. Jobs. You know what I'm going to say. Jobs are going to go. Stock markets, they could climb because of the effect of the Magnificent 7 or what might be 15 or might be 20. They could climb. But the middle class lose. And that theme is going to be repeated again and again and again and again. Middle class lose. Jobs lost. Just to switch back to the UK for a second, I see that the UK job seekers numbers rose at the highest rate since November 20, which was when COVID was at its peak. So all jobs are going, as I've said to you. Canada, Australia, China, Germany, Europe, UK, US, jobs, going. Three scenarios, Greg says. Let's have a look at these. I'll read it from Greg's piece here. Well, I'll do my notes first. Stocks, selected melt up. Yes, a few mega companies have a melt up in their stock prices. And then a crash of the whole market within 6 to 18 months is how Greg sees the first scenario. The second one is a managed plateau where the market just plateaus. Some, obviously, the mega stocks win, the others drift down, but nothing monumental happens. The megas thrive, the rest decline, as he calls it, and the middle class lose. And then disorderly break. He only gives this a 20% chance. I think there's more because there's more factors coming in from outside. Now, Greg does have a US-centric view on things, you know, and that's fine. That's his market. If we're trying to join the dots globally, then I think there's a lot more than a 20% chance that the stocks gap down, and that forces what I think is inevitable, I think, a new financial system. I think they're pushing us there. We don't know it. A lot of people can't see it. But if you join the dots, if you look at all the pieces I've sent you, even that interview of Michael Yon yesterday, or 2 days ago, you'll see it. They're pushing us towards a new system. And will it be digital? Will it be crypto-based? It will certainly be digital. But will it be crypto-based or will it be gold and silver-based? And will half the world do one thing and half the world do the other? We don't know. But that's where my logical thinking says we should be positioning ourselves for something we can't avoid. And when you see Trump sat at that dinner with Zuckerberg next to Donald and Gates next to Melania, the two people who effectively brought the world to its knees in COVID, Bill Gates, and then the person who, through his power of media control, silenced the truth, Zuckerberg. sitting next to the Trumps. Now, I can only think, if I'm trying to think positive on this, I think Trump is keeping his enemies close. It didn't seem that way. And it has scared an awful lot of the very serious thinkers out there. And there's no more than Steve Bannon, and I will link, that's the third link, Steve Bannon talking about this, because Steve Bannon was a massive Trump fan. As you know, I think he went to jail in the end, didn't he? Over the wall and some accusations that he had taken money from the funding of the Trump wall. Steve Bannon I saw talking about the South China Sea crisis and what China's ambitions were in a debate many, many years ago, and he made absolutely 100% sense, and he was absolutely right every time. Every time. Steve Bannon is a very clever man. And he is disgusted at the sight of Zuckerberg one side, Gates the other. It's an interesting link, it's an interesting video. Please watch it. As I say, we're joining dots which other people just can't see. They can't even see the dot, let alone the joining. They just can't see it. But meanwhile, gold is going up and silver is going up. As I say, this morning I was very pleasantly surprised to see gold over 3.6, silver over 41. My own personal thoughts, and these are my own personal thoughts, not advice. Please get out of that system where you think that someone says something that's advice. It's not. It's my own personal thoughts. And I said it to my clients, is that silver, once it got through 40, will race to 48. I say 48 because 50 is a huge number. It's a huge number. And it will often bounce off that number 2 or 3 times before it gets through. So to stay cautious, I say 48. I don't think there's anything to stop it getting to 48 quite quickly. Given everything we know, given all the dots we've joined already in the past about supply, demand, metrics. And when that happens, the silver miners, again, will react very aggressively. Okay, they'll react very aggressively. There's a lot of talk on the miners now. I've sent you lots of pieces from Mike Maloney, Rick Rule, Andy Sheckman. These people are all saying it. Please listen to them. Francis Hunt, the market sniper. They're all saying it. It's all the same thing. The multiples, the value is in the miners, in my view. So what we're seeing is this is another part of the wealth transfer cycle that's been in place now for 30, 40 years, the corporate fascist wealth transfer cycle. You think about all the things we've been scared by, scared of, all the fear. ESG, the world's going to drown, the world's going to disappear under raging oceans. Oh no, first of all, the ozone layer is going to disappear. Well, that's mended. The world is like a body. It has an immune system. It reacts. The ozone layer has mended. So, ESG, that was the next one, wasn't it? Fear, 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 fear. Global cooling, global boiling, climate change, because we don't know which. Nothing's happening, that's why. Really, nothing's happening. So ESG fear, medicine fear, COVID fear, censorship and control to control and keep you in fear. It's a wealth transfer cycle of immense proportions, because who has got richer? Those who've done solar, those who've done EVs, those who've done vaccines. Fear, 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 profit, 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 profit. Wealth transfer, middle class, ouch. So, what do the people do when faced with a plan to destroy their middle class? Because once you've destroyed the middle class, you have total control. There's no one who is independently strong enough financially to fight the new system. That's why you destroy the middle class. Because they are the people who can think, they are the people who are independent, they are the people who can do things. People like Robert Malone. They can do things, they can talk about things, they can explain things, they can make people understand things if they're given a platform. But when that platform's taken away, censorship, fear, then they can't. So what do we turn to? Well, as you know, my personal route is to turn to gold, silver, and some crypto. Okay, and I have to say, I added substantially to my silver minus stack last week. I did. So just to tell you that, doesn't mean you should. You have to do your research. I gave you Clive Thompson, and he explained how to analyse silver and gold miners. And it was a very, very nice, neat textbook piece. Please watch it. I've given it to you last week. Okay? So if you're going into that sort of market and you want to know more detail, what you need to research, I gave you it. Clive Thompson gave you it. Okay? So please look at those. Please do your homework. Please do your research. But please understand the big picture. Because if we don't build our own defences, we won't have any. Okay? Thank you very much.